Barry Allen and Hal Jordan have been friends for a very long time. But Hal Jordan's been in deep space for a while now, making it hard for the two of them to communicate. What does Barry do when he needs his oldest friend to talk to try to work out his issues? Well, he lets Hal Jordan show up for a party, and they talk it out and then defeat a villain. And we're going to tell you that story, but the more uninteresting thing that happens in the background of that entire story is Kid Flash fights against Reverse Flash. But who cares about Reverse Flash? It's not like he's one of the greatest villains in DC ever. Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then, we read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the 25th century and the Flash Museum. Around you is the museum featuring many of the Flash's enemies and friends on display for the world to see. On the left, you'll see Godspeed's uniform, and then Kid Flashes, and then multiple Flash suits, along with a montage of the Justice League and the Flash. Normally, the museum is full of Flash's adoring fans, those who yearn to know the Flash in a way that we do. But I felt like you deserved a private tour. And for our first history lesson, let me tell you about a man that I know quite well. Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom. He was many things to many people, but to the Flash, he was his ally, his partner, his best friend. And this is his story. Back in our current day, Barry Allen stands over the body of the Reverse Flash. Recently, Barry went on a time-traveling adventure with Batman to discover the mastermind behind all of the DC Rebirth timeline stuff. They failed to find the culprit, but in their adventure, Reverse Flash was murdered. We'll link that story down below. And in front of him, Barry is trying to figure out what happened. How did the Reverse Flash die? The doctors walk into the room and Barry walks out. But there's something funny about the Reverse Flash. You see, he's time-traveled so much that he is a living paradox. To actually kill him, well, it's near impossible. And that's when a spark of life begins to form in his eye socket. But for Barry, he's been so absorbed that he's missing a key moment of his life, his birthday. And as Iris drags him to all of his friends, they shout, "Happy birthday!" Everyone is cheering for Barry, but he can't help but think about everything that is going on. He traveled through time with Batman, and it wasn't exactly just an excellent adventure. There was so much more happening. Like the appearance of another speedster, one that seemingly saved Barry and Bruce. The man with a weird tin helmet, and he knew Barry, but Barry couldn't think of his name. Whoever he was, he had been removed from the timeline. Or Thomas Wayne's final words to Bruce, where he told him to give up being Batman. Those words now haunt Bruce. Barry looks over at Wally and sees that he's still ignoring him because before all of this, he told Wally his identity. But Wally was mad that Barry hadn't told Iris. Barry then glances at Iris and he thinks about it. He told himself that he wouldn't tell her to keep her safe. And that's not really the reason. She's the greatest woman that he knows and he didn't want to lose her. He then pictures Reverse Flash coming in. Lose her to Thawne. Eobard is faster than both Flash and Kid Flash, and in a blink of an eye, Barry would be powerless to watch as Reverse Flash murdered everyone that he knows. But then he snaps out of it. Is his fear of losing everyone what is keeping him from telling Iris everything? Everyone continues talking about new houses, new lives, new jobs. The world is moving around Barry faster than he even realizes, and he seems lost in his own thoughts. Iris walks over smiling at him. Don't go doing one of your disappearing acts, Barry Allen. And then, something unexpected happens. Hal Jordan walks over. Looks like I'm right on time, he smiles at his oldest friend. He hands Barry a box with a plane in it, and Barry tells him, "Great gift. I loved it when I gave it to you 2 years ago, Hal." Hal looks around apologetic. "Well, I haven't been home in a while. Are you sure you gave that to me?" "It's been too long, Hal. It's just good to see you." Hal Jordan left the planet a long time ago to go on a crazy space adventure saving the entire galaxy, and I'll link that entire playlist to you down below. Hal smiles at Iris as she walks over. "And who is this lovely lady, Barry?" So Barry introduces his girlfriend, Iris West. But she pulls Barry aside for a moment after shaking Hal's hand. She looks at him. "You aren't off the hook because of Flyboy there. Where are you, Barry? We're all here for you, and you aren't here." Barry tries to talk his way out of it, but Iris goes on. "Look, I know you're hiding something. Why don't you just rip the band-aid off and fess up?" Barry's surprised. What do you mean?" Just then, people come running by shouting for everyone to get out of there. Run away! And Barry sees one of his villains, Danton Black, aka Multiplex. He tells Iris to go and he looks at his oldest friend. Let's suit up. He runs past Wally telling him to get Iris out of there, and then he runs towards Multiplex with Hal as the red and the green wrap around them, because Flash and Green Lantern are here. Multiplex is surrounding a woman with his multiple clones of himself, his power, telling her that she needs to come back to him. She belongs to him! And Flash runs in with the Green Lantern cracking a joke. Sounds like you're not the only one with relationship problems, Flash. Was it that obvious? They save everyone and knock out the clones before running over to see an army of more arriving. Hal looks at him. Think you're fast enough to grab the girl while I clear a path? And as Hal bulldozes all of the multiplexes, he tells him, here I thought your party would be dull. And Flash grabs the woman. This reminds Flash why things don't work for him. People like Multiplex, they don't stop. They go after the people that Barry loves, his friends, his family. And even when those stalkers aren't present, they make it so that every moment of your life is about them, attacking even when you least expect it. Thawne went after Batman and he nearly killed him. And Barry begins to think about how he'll never forget seeing Bruce's broken body on the cave floor. What if Thawne were to attack Hal like that? But while Flash is lost in his own head again, Hal begins to shout, Barry! Barry! And Flash looks over to see a literal wave of multiplexes coming at them. But while the Flash and the Green Lantern are trying to resolve this, Wally West carries Iris back to their house. As they walk in, Wally decides that it's time to tell Iris about Daniel. Iris tells him that she knows that he's worried about becoming that monster. But when he was the Reverse Flash, and another voice stops her there. Actually, I hate to quibble, but that's when we see Eobard Thawne sitting on the couch. There's only one Reverse Flash! Back at the park, Multiplex is spawning more and more duplicates to lose Hal and Flash in the crowd. But back with Iris, Reverse Flash sees Iris telling her, It's so good to see you, young and full of life, Miss West. Wally shouts for her to run for, and in an instant, Eobard is standing in the doorway. You know, in my time, I was an expert at all things Flash. But for some reason, all of that has changed. Wally hurls a speedster lightning bolt at Thawne, but he bats it away while yawning. You know, I've raced against all of the Flash's proteges. But you, young Wallace West, you are new. A clear example of the Flash's history being altered. I was hoping that you could help me fill in some of the blanks. Eobard runs around, throwing Wally and Iris into the air, and as Iris grabs for her phone, he smashes that as well. Wally suits up. How about the Kid Flash kicks your butt? And Eobard looks at him. There he is. Tell me something, what kind of Kid Flash are you? Are you impulsive? Or the kind that'll live in the Flash's shadow forever? While this is going on, Flash runs so quick that he brings everything down to speedster time, allowing him to see the minor movements of everyone to find Multiplex, slowing everything down. But while he did that for that reason, Reverse Flash did it to beat the tar out of Kid Flash, making him regret fighting him within seconds. In that slowed down time state, Flash notices Multiplex looking around at all of them, looking for something. And he realizes that's the main one. He's looking for the girl. But back with Kid Flash and Reverse Flash, Eobard catches Kid Flash's fist with a boom! And then he throws Kid Flash, stomping on his leg, breaking it. You aren't even the real Wallace West! Back in the park, Hal sees Flash grab the main multiplex and they've won again. But back at the house, Eobard stomps on Wally's leg again. You see, right now the Speed Force is trying to heal your leg. But Wallace reforming her bone in your muscles, lo and have I broke it again. Iris gets up running towards Eobard, trying her best to hit him, drop him, stop him somehow. I'm surprised by you, Miss West. After everything your father and brother put you through, how could you let a man like the Flash into your home? And she asks him, what are you talking about? So he grabs her by the wrist. Oh, you don't know? Well, that's an interesting twist. Back in the park, Flash and Hal are sitting above everyone on a construct bar, so Barry can tell Hal everything. Barry isn't sure what to do, and Hal tells him, life is short. Don't hold back. They say their farewells, and Hal goes back into space to continue on his space adventures. Barry runs back to the West household, determined to do the right thing finally, because life is short, or it can be long, but every second is a gift. He walks up to the door to find it ajar, and already he's unsettled by that. He walks in to find the place torn apart and Kid Flash on the ground groaning. He sees Barry and he tells him, the Speed Force is trying to heal me, but something is wrong. And Barry asks, where is Iris? Wally points to the wall. Thawne, he left you a message. Barry looks up to see, you know where I live. In the far-flung future, Reverse Flash carries Iris there, and he murders someone before her eyes. She tries to run, but he cuts her off. I have to give you a gift. The gift of remembering a past life. One where I murdered you. And there you have it, guys. Barry Allen and Hal Jordan working out their differences while defeating a villain. Isn't that what all superheroes do when they need to work out their differences? Oh, and there's that whole Eobard Thawne kidnapping Iris West and Kid Flash thing. We'll get to that eventually. And if you want to know how that resolves, then you may as well subscribe to the channel. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian. I'll see you next time right here. Crack-a-ca-goom! Actually, not gonna do that. Use that as a blooper reel. Crack-a-ca-goom! Crack-goom, Dan! Boom!